BMWs have always been the ultimate driving machines with their peppy engines and that rear-wheel drive engagement. But as the marquee seeks to open up the BMW experience to more people, will the 218i Gran Coupe Sport serve as a delicious appetizer into the BMW world? Well, that's what we're here to find out. Let's do this! Hello guys, I'm Reagan and welcome back to another car review. If you're new to my channel, I hope you click that subscribe button and become part of the Reagan's Rides family. If you're my subscriber already, sit back, relax, and enjoy as we put the 2 through its paces. Also special thanks to RSA Motors for giving us this awesome opportunity to review the BMW 218i Gran Coupe Sport. If you want the full BMW experience, head on down to the showroom of RSA Motors and check them out. Once again, thank you so much, Boss RSA, for giving me this awesome opportunity. Aspirational. BMW has always been one of those aspirational car brands that every average Joe wants to own because it is the symbol of success. Just like a Rolex or a Louis Vuitton. Now, when you get past that luxury brand status, you'll see that BMWs are some of the best driving cars ever. I mean, they're not really called the ultimate driving machine for nothing, yeah? Now what I have here is the BMW 218i Gran Coupe Sport, which serves as the entry-level sporty sedan in the lineup. The 218 Gran Coupe, or the 2, is the sole variant offered in the Philippines, and it retails for 2,990,000 Philippine pesos. Now, that's only 100,000 pesos lower than the base model 3 series, so let's see if the 2 is worth that 100 grand savings. However, let's not confuse this 218i Gran Coupe Sport to the fire-breathing M2 competition. While they share the same numerical name in BMW stable, the M2 Comp is a rear-wheel drive sports car, while this F44 2 Series is a front-wheel drive layout. The F44 2 Series gets the same familiar BMW front fascia and thankfully doesn't inherit the 4 Series supersized kidney grille. Now, the 2 also gets the stylized set of Angel Eye LED headlights here and a lot of lines and angles on its front bumper to differentiate it from the smaller 1 Series and the larger 3 Series. Now, it's clearly a sporty look and it's a good look for anybody wanting to get into the BMW world. Now, the side profile of the 218i Gran Coupe Sport shows you why it's called a coupe or coupe, depends on your location. Now, BMW went to great lengths to give this version of the 2 a sleek coupe profile. Now, considering that the other body style of the 2 Series is an MPV body style, well, this is a marked improvement. Now, this 2 Series gets a sleek and sloping fastback profile, and despite having 4 doors, it also has frameless windows on all 4 doors, as you can see. Now, these frameless windows give it a lower roofline and adds to its sportiness. Now, the doors are heavy and they give off a satisfying thud whenever you close them. See? Now, that's despite having a frameless set of windows. Now, the BMW 2 Series also has a BMW puddle lamp here because, well, they don't want you to step on anything nasty. Now, we also get a sleek-looking, power-folding side mirrors here with LED turn signals and a set of 17-inch wheels that are wrapped in 225/45 R17 tires. Behind those wheels, we get disc brakes on all 4 corners, and for your suspension, we have a MacPherson setup in the front and an independent multi-link rear suspension at the back. Now, the ground clearance is 152 millimeters, which is practical for Philippine roads. The rear end of the 2 is sleek and gets some design elements that are found in the 8 Series, notably the taillights. Now, we have here a ducktail spoiler shape that has been incorporated into the trunk lid, which further enhances that coupe profile of the 2 and also aids in its aerodynamics. Now, the LED taillights here are shaped in the same shape as the 8 Series taillights, and since the 8 Series is one of my most favorite BMWs, well, these taillights will get some love from me as well. Now, the 2 also has its share of fake vents because we got a couple of them right here at the sides of the rear bumper. Now, these fake vents are small slits, and they're small enough to be forgiven. Now, when you pop open the trunk, you'll get 430 liters of trunk capacity, and since this 2 Series is on run-flat tires, we don't really get a spare tire here. Now, since we don't have a spare tire, the trunk lip is mounted quite low, so that should make it easy to load heavy stuff inside your trunk. Now, how much stuff can we fit inside? I have here my medium-sized luggage, and as you can see, it could easily fit inside the trunk of the 2 Series, plus there's enough space on the other side for us hand carry luggage. It's not enough to fit a second medium-sized luggage there because, well, it is really that small. However, if you need more space than 430 liters can allow, you could always tumble down the seat backs of the back seat, and that should effectively double your trunk space. Now, just like any proper BMW, this too gets dual hood latches, so you'll have to tug on the hood latch release twice in order to see the engine. Now, despite having a BMW badge and a BMW engine cover, the engine that we have here is a mini engine. You see, BMW owns Mini, and the mini engine of the Cooper found its way here underneath the hood of the 2 Series. This is a 1.5-liter 3-cylinder turbocharged gasoline engine that can put out 138 horsepower and 220 newton meters of torque. Now, the engine is on the small side, being a mini engine. See what I did there? But, well, BMW saw it fit to pair this with a 7-speed dual clutch transmission. Now, the dual clutch sends the power to the wrong wheels because the 2 is a front-wheel drive car. Now, BMW purists would always want to get that rear-wheel drive layout or at most an all-wheel drive setup. So if you're one of those people, well, you might as well stick to the 3 Series or higher. Now, the good thing about a front-wheel drive setup plus that dual clutch transmission and that small engine is we get phenomenal fuel economy. My city fuel economy was 9 kilometers per liter in this thing, and when I went up to the highway, it went up to 19 kilometers per liter. Now, that is really helped by the small turbocharged engine, that front-wheel drive layout, and that dual clutch transmission combo. Plus, the 2 is also equipped with a very aggressive engine start-stop system that, well, helps save you on your fuel. Oh boy, all right, starting to rain. Okay guys, so the cabin of the 218 Gran Coupe is surprisingly spacious despite being such a small BMW. Now, the 2 Series is considered to be an entry-level Beamer, but there's nothing entry-level about this cabin. The seats are both power adjustable for the driver and the passenger, and they're wrapped in vegan leather, which BMW calls Sensatec. Now, this might be synthetic leather, but it's quite plush, and it's got the perfect amount of bolstering on the sides of the body to hug you tight when you're doing some spirited driving. Now, the seats also come with adjustable thigh support, which is great news for people with longer legs. Now, the steering wheel is also wrapped in the same vegan leather material, and we have here buttons for hands-free connectivity and buttons for your speed limiter. You see, the 2 Series in the Philippines doesn't come with cruise control, but rather we just have a speed limiter here. Now, I also noticed that the headlight controls are now a set of buttons that are found here on the left side of the steering wheel, which is also, well, quite intuitive because you just put it in auto and you're good to go. Now, the steering wheel also adjusts for tilt and telescoping, which is expected from an entry-level luxury car. Now, what I expected to get but we don't have here are a set of paddle shifters. Now, the 218 Gran Coupe is marketed as a sporty sedan, so it would have been nice to have a set of paddle shifters here which would go brilliantly with that 7-speed dual clutch transmission that we have here. But, well, we don't really get that. Now, when you look at the instrument gauge cluster of the 2 Series, it's nicely laid out, it's clean, it's a fully digital gauge cluster, but it's in a format that is in an analog layout. Now, I love this about the 2 Series because everything that I need, all the information I need, can be found right there in front of me. Now, beside that instrument gauge cluster, I have here the screen of BMW's iDrive system. Now, the iDrive system in the 2 Series in the Philippines doesn't come with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which might seem like a bummer for most people. But then, the iDrive system of BMW is so easy to use, it's quite intuitive, that you really wouldn't miss Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Now, this iDrive system can be controlled via touchscreen or via the master control knob that's found right here beside the shifter. Now, this iDrive also contains your vehicle information, giving you everything you need to know, even down to how much torque and horsepower that you're using. Now, I love this screen because it's like I have a set of 4 gauges laid out right there in front of me. I love that. Now, the iDrive screen also has the image for your reverse camera, because the 2 Series here is equipped with a reverse camera, but the image quality is decent, but it's not really the best that I've seen out there. Well, it's still quite usable, guys. Now, when you move down from your BMW iDrive system, we have here a nice and minimalist dual-zone fully automatic climate control system, and I also love how they designed these air AC vents. I mean, it's simple, straightforward, but it looks quite premium. Now, when you go further down, we have here a cell phone holder. It's narrow enough just to fit your cell phone, and when you put your cell phone there, you'd expect that it's like a wireless charging pad because it has an image there of your cell phone, but it doesn't really charge your phone because, well, the 2 Series here in the Philippines is not equipped with a wireless charging capability. It does come with a USB-A charging port here, which should give you some wired charging, and it's found right between the 2 cup holders, which we will subject to our clean canteen test. So I have here my clean canteen, guys, and let's see if it fits. Surprisingly, it fits. It's a snug fit, but it passes my clean canteen test. The clean canteen is a bit on the tall side, but it doesn't even hit the lower part of the dashboard. Plus, we also have some bottle holders found on the door cards right here, so you could also put it there. Now, when you go to the shifter area here, we have here the BMW joystick shifter, and it's quite low. At first, when I got this car, I thought that it's mounted quite low, but then when I started using it in manual mode and I was doing some spirited driving with this thing, the placement of the shifter is just perfect with the height of your center armrest here. I mean, it's so easy to just flick it in manual mode. And the pro tip to most of you guys there, BMW's manual mode is you have the upshift going downwards and you have the downshift going upwards. So it's BMW does that, Mazda also does that, and that's how you should do it if you're doing some sporty driving. Now, beside the shifter, you got a nice looking engine start stop button here and 3 buttons that toggle between your drive modes. The 2 Series comes with a comfort mode, which is the default setting. We have an Eco Pro mode, which is for people who want to save on fuel, and it also has a sport mode for people like me who loves to drive, well, quite spiritedly. We also have here a button that turns off the engine start-stop system, or sorry, the start-stop system of the 2 Series, which can be a little bit aggressive. So if you're annoyed with that, you can just turn it off with the push of a button here. Now, when you look at the entire layout of the cockpit of this 2 Series Gran Coupe, I mean, everything is oriented towards the driver. Everything is angled towards me, and I love how they put the iDrive screen right in the perfect alignment with your gauge cluster so that it doesn't really distract me from the most important thing that I have to do when I'm behind the wheel, and that is to drive this car. Now, the quality of materials found here, we have some nice soft touch materials here on the top dashboard. We also have soft touch materials on your door cards. We even have some nice subtle ambient lighting found here in the middle dashboard and in your door cards, which you can also change colors, and that's really cool, guys. I love that about this car as well. But we do have some hard wearing plastics found at the bottom part of your door cards and also the bottom part of your dashboard. However, the fit and finish of the cabin of this BMW 2 Series is naturally, well, fantastic, as expected from any luxury vehicle. Now, being a coupe or coupe body style, the back seat of the 218 Gran Coupe Sport is naturally snug. I'm 5'6", guys, and this is my driving position. As you can see, I got around 5 inches of knee room here and around 3 inches of headroom. Now, you could still put 2 adults right here at the back seat and they would sit comfortably. But if you're much taller than I am, then you might as well sit on the front passenger seat. Now, you could still put a third person in the middle, but it won't be the most ideal position, because you still have a bit of a center tunnel found here, and it's going to be quite snug already here at the back. However, despite being a bit on the tight side, well, it's not claustrophobic here, mainly because we still got some nice and large windows, and we even have some extra glass that's found here on the C-pillar, which helps to let more natural light in. Now, when it comes to toys, you've got a couple of rear AC vents here, a couple of USB-C charging ports, which shows you that this too is already quite future-proof. And I was surprised to see that we even have a center armrest here and a couple of cup holders. I mean, even the base model 3 Series doesn't come with a center armrest in its back seat. Now, the seats themselves are nicely contoured and nicely shaped, such that you won't be sliding around whenever the driver of the two is doing some spirited canyon carving. And speaking of drive, it's now time to take this two out for a quick spin. Alright guys, so we're now driving the BMW 218i Gran Coupe Sport, and right off the bat I could tell you that this is indeed a driver's car. Now, the driving ergonomics is spot on. Everything is laid out right here in front of me, and my visibility is really good, especially considering that this is a coupe-like sedan. Forward visibility is really nice, and my sideways visibility is also quite good. However, the side mirrors do have a section that has a concave image to it, which I'm not used to that, because most of my cars have a flat mirror there. So yeah, but if you're used to a concave style mirror, it's not going to be a problem for you at all. The steering response is phenomenal. I mean, they don't call these things the ultimate driving machines for nothing. Now, despite being an electric power assist system, the heft of this steering wheel is perfect. It's spot on, and I love that it has a really sharp turn-in, and I have a good amount of response on my steering. I mean, it feels like a performance sedan when I'm driving this thing. I mean, the response is really spot on, guys. I'm losing words here, because wow, this thing is so engaging. Now, when you put it in sport mode, it becomes sharper. The steering response becomes sharper than when you are in comfort mode. But it doesn't mean that if it's in comfort mode, you're going to be a little laggy. It doesn't mean that. Wow. This is the benchmark by which all electric power assist steering systems should be measured against. I mean, this is really good. The steering is phenomenal, guys. Now, this 2 Series is powered by a 3-cylinder engine, and as such, the character of the engine is a bit on the gruff side. When you start the engine up, you'd feel it. It feels like a diesel motor, but once you get going, well, it smoothens out on the road. Now, acceleration is decent, and you've got a good amount of torque down low. When you set it in comfort driving mode, it's good enough for day-to-day driving duties, daily driving duties, running errands, and stuff like that. However, when you toggle it into sport mode, this thing turns into a completely different animal. In sport mode, the response is quicker. It feels more, it feels more alive in a sport mode. And I'm always normally in a sport mode. And the good thing here is that dual clutch transmission really comes alive in a sport mode. This is also the best dual clutch transmission that I've ever tried in any of the cars that I've reviewed. It's nice and smooth even if you're going around town. It doesn't jerk too much. In fact, it doesn't jerk at all, but it gives you some really lightning fast shifts that you'd expect from a performance DCT. Now, one of the best bits of good news that I found here in the 2 Series is, despite being a front-wheel drive vehicle, the handling of this thing is really quite sharp. In fact, it kind of reminds me of the handling of a Mini Cooper. I mean, despite that front-wheel drive layout, this thing is highly tossable, highly drivable. All the balls that you could think of, this thing has it. I mean, wow, the handling is really sharp. And couple that with that razor-sharp steering response, I mean, you've got a really strong performer here, despite having a front-wheel drive and just 3 cylinders under the hood. I mean, wow. BMW did a fantastic job tuning this thing and making it really more of a sport performer that most drivers out there would come to appreciate. Now, despite that sporty tuning of this 2, well, it doesn't sacrifice on comfort. Now, I don't know what sort of magic BMW does with their cars, but despite that really sharp handling and that steering response, this thing still rides very comfortably. You know that you're inside the premium entry-level luxury car because everything just feels so solid. All the road imperfections, the bumps, the potholes are absorbed like a black hole absorbing light. Yeah, that kind of absorption. I mean, nothing gets transmitted inside the cabin, but it's not numb. It doesn't feel like you're floating on a pillow of cloud. It doesn't feel that way. You still feel that engagement while you're driving this thing, but it's not harsh to the point that your passengers would be cursing you because of the stiffness of the ride. It's not stiff at all. Now, overall, guys, well, this BMW 218i Gran Coupe Sport may have a front-wheel drive layout, but it delivers a true BMW driving experience. I mean, some people might say that it's a Mini disguised as a BMW, but I say that this, my friends, is a true blue BMW. So does the 218i Gran Coupe Sport live up to the title, the ultimate driving machine? While it won't allow you to do donuts in an empty parking lot, the 2 does its best to compensate for its front-wheel drive configuration and its small engine. Now, it largely succeeds in that regard with its razor-sharp handling and a steering response that can rival a Mini Cooper S. But is it better than the larger 3 Series? Well, if you're somebody who wants a smaller yet sporty-looking BMW, the 2 is perfect for you. But if you're a BMW purist and you want that rear-wheel drive performance, well, the larger 3 Series is just 100,000 Philippine pesos away. Either way, you can't really go wrong with either the 2 or the 3 Series. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching.